Hey, everybody. This is Jennie Potter, and we are going live here with a very special guest. I have known Tyler for probably maybe 6 or 7, maybe 8 months now. I ran into Tyler or connected with Tyler because I read his amazing book. It's called The Alignment Effect, and I highly recommend it. This book is a game changer. It will change your life. It has absolutely transformed mine. And so much so that I reached out to Tyler and asked him, like, hey, how can we work together? And so my husband Dave and I have been working with you, Tyler, now for like 8 months. It's been awesome. We've had tons of shifts in our personal lives. And I really love and have never really seen the kind of work that you do, how quick it is, how transformational it is, how you can shift people into alignment with their goals, with what they want, with what they don't want. And so, Tyler, I'd love for you to intro yourself just a little bit so people can know who you are, and maybe explain like the addictions and allergies kind of concept, and then we can like hop into any other good stuff
Okay,
and see how it goes.
very cool. So yeah, let me tell a little bit about myself. My name's Tyler Watson. I look like I'm 14 when I don't do my hair. uh, I actually have an amazing wife, 3 kids, and one on the way. Woo-hoo. So next month, and it's a boy, so that'll be sweet. First one. And my main passion is helping entrepreneurs and influencers be able to make changes in minutes instead of taking years. And it sounds too good to be true. It sounds like, how does this work? Some of it looks like magical. Like, this is like, just, what is this? Is this an illusion? But the cool thing is that it's not. That I believe that every single person on the planet has the power to make changes immediately, in seconds. And the problem is that we're taught and trained that change has to take a long time, that it has to be difficult. You got to put in a lot of effort. You got to put in a lot of energy. You got to fail over and over and over and try so many things. And then hopefully one day you'll make a change. And I was taught that philosophy for years. Growing up, my mom went through like 5 divorces. My dad went through 2. I went through a lot of negative feelings through suicidal and depression. But I never told anybody because I didn't feel good enough. I didn't feel like I could. I didn't feel safe. I didn't even know I could communicate. The only time we talked about things growing up was like if I was in trouble or something that was not good. So I had to learn some things. But as I started on this journey, I knew that I wanted to have it all. I wanted to have a great family life. I wanted to make a lot of money. I wanted to have good health. And I could see in some of the books I read, like Jim Rohn and all these people who, started to teach these cool principles and made it, and they came from nothing, that if they could do it, like, why couldn't I? And as I saw that and started to study a lot on the mindset and how things worked, I realized that just because I lived a specific way or saw certain patterns didn't mean it had to define who I was. And even though logically I knew that, emotionally I didn't know how to actually make it work. So I felt like there was this missing piece. Like, how do I get the knowledge to become part of my identity so that I can make a change and have it stick? So fast forward a little bit, worked on myself a lot, did a lot of techniques, over 500 different techniques, almost $800,000 now in different personal development processes and working on myself and growing myself and my business and my message. And through that, it actually started with my wife with a gluten allergy. So this was about 5 years ago. And during that time, my wife would eat gluten and bloat up, and it was like all this nasty stuff would happen. And I had learned some cool techniques that would get a result for like a day or two, but then the symptoms would come back. And my burning question was, why do things have to keep happening? Like, is there not a way to make a change and make it work instead of having to relive it over and over and over and over? So I got really obsessed with this, like, how do people change and how do they change quickly? And so I started to study a ton, and I was led actually to allergies and addictions, which was the key component for me. So in the middle of the night, I was given a vision I don't ever dream, and I am a big God fan, but usually it's like after a lot of praying, and then I get a little impression. But this was like, I think God was like, "Wake up, Tyler! Like I've been trying to send this for years. Here, finally." My old self was probably just like, "I need a very strong,
No.
simple way that like I can get it in my brain." So I was sleeping, I got this download of all the different techniques that I had learned and put it into a system. And the feeling in my heart was the only reason that anyone would ever struggle with anything is because some part of them at a cellular level is addicted to that thing or allergic to what you actually want. And I was like, well, if everything on the planet's energy cannot be created nor destroyed, but it can be transferred, then if my wife is not able to eat gluten, it's because some part of her at a cellular level is pushing away the idea of what gluten represents and holding on to the non-ideal of what gluten does to her. So it's addicted and allergic. So if we could get her into a state of alignment, which means no more addictions, no more allergies, but pure choice, then symptoms goes away, she can change. I was like, man, this sounds too good to be true. My old philosophy learning all this stuff was I got to get to the root cause of the root cause of the root of the root of the root of the root, and like dig deep and like hopefully eventually find that one root that was missing and then painfully pull it up or whatever it might be, or confront it or some like different way that took a long time. And if you missed it, nothing changed. So I was like, this sounds too nice, too simple, too good to be true. Like I had a lot of resistance towards this method when I first learned it. I was like, there's no way, because it invalidated everything I'd learned. I was like, no.
And there's so much messaging that everything has to be difficult and take a long time and be verbalized and all of the things. So yeah, super.
Exactly. So, long story short, I did the process on my wife, and the first thing she said was, I want to eat some toast. And she did, and it's been over 5 years and can eat gluten fine. So we
Wow.
did it on a bunch of food allergies, which that's not the cool part. The cool part is, as an entrepreneur, I'm like, hey, what about with money? I like money. I like making money. What if I could do it on money? So we did it on money. And within 24 hours, I worked on myself. I did it on having people reach out to me and pay in full for my services without marketing to them. And I was like, it works for a lot of people. How come not me? Oh, well, it's because some part of me is allergic to that and addicted to thinking I have to market to make money. So switched it. Within 24 hours, had 4 people reach out and turned into 8K of sales. And I was like, dude, this is placebo. Keep it coming. Like, this is great. And then I wanted to test it on other people. So I did it on other coaches. I had a coach who got 10 new clients in a week, where normally that would take 3 months. Had a chiropractor double his income from 30 to 60K without any changing externally of anything. Had a guy who changed a pain in his back and had an extra $65,000 land in his account 1 week later. So we had these crazy things that were happening. And I was like, what about with relationships? And so I was like, well, let's try it there. Sure enough, helping people like save marriages on the verge of divorce to some cool experiences. And then I thought, well, what about those things that people have tried everything on that nothing's worked in? And so that's when it was really the pivot point for me. And I had a guy named Craig who had had a cardiac arrest. And for 5 years, if he walked and looked to the left or right, he'd fall over. So his whole equilibrium was messed up. Had to wear sunglasses, earplugs, function less than 4 hours a day. Theory was, well, the only reason you're struggling with that is because some part of you at a cellular level is addicted to those symptoms and allergic to what you want. That's it. If you align, it should shift. So I didn't know, but I was like, let's test it. So we did it on him. And sure enough, a week later, he called back on the phone in tears and says, I'm not wearing any sunglasses. I don't have any earplugs. I'm functioning at least 8 hours a day now. And I can walk and I don't fall over when I look left or right. And I just got this deep, deep, deep impression that I was like, Tyler, you need to pivot everything and just teach this.
Mhm.
So I stopped from being a coach to teach coaches how to find their message and enroll high paying clients and speak on stages. That
Mhm.
was what I used to do.
Yeah.
To now, I'm an elite performance coach that helps people rewire their body and brain as fast as humanly possible so they can get results in days or minutes instead of taking years.
Mhm. Oh, it's so exciting. And I get to see you actually in person in Salt Lake City on, well, in theory, not tomorrow, but probably Thursday morning, bright and early. I'm so excited to be learning more from you and becoming an elite performance coach if I pass.
You'll pass.
But it's been so cool working with you and learning from you. And of course, there's going to be people watching that are like, ah, that's me, even, the work that I do, Tyler, like helping people release emotions that they're holding on to, old trauma that they're holding on to. I always say there's many doors to the same house. And
Yeah.
this is another way to like come in and align to what you want and to healing. And oftentimes we'll see with emotional release, we'll see suddenly like a windfall of money or a shift in circumstances. Um, but I know that people are going to want to know, well, what's the technique? Like, what's the method? Like, how do I learn? And I know that you have an event coming up that is almost free,
Yeah.
$7. Super, super. I mean, you could charge $97 or $1,000 or more for the value that you're going to get for your event coming up. So, talk to me a little bit about the event coming up. I know the dates are November 27th, 28th, 29th, and I actually have a link which I can put in the comments if anyone's curious about it, or just comment below right now if you're watching and you're like, I want to know more. And I'll make sure you get the information. But Tyler, just tell us a little bit about what are they going to learn? Like, if it's someone like struggling with procrastination, or it's someone struggling with like they can never seem to be in a happy relationship or
Yeah.
have a relationship, have love, or have maybe someone's doing really well. I've got tons of people in my network on my Facebook that are like just rocking it, but they've hit sort of an income level and they can't seem to push past that. Like, what can they do, or what will the event do for them?
Yep. Great question. So we work with anyone from beginning entrepreneur all the way up to people who are doing over 100 million a year. And so with that, the fastest way, like we teach very quick methods to change. So
Mhm.
if you want to become someone who is just crushing it even more and having it all, we're about balance. So it's not just about making a lot of money, but it's about having great relationships and keeping your health at peak state. So how do I become an elite entrepreneur and influencer that if I have an area that I don't want to confront, that I don't really want to talk about or admit, or I just want to like have more joy or happiness throughout it, then what I'm going to teach you over the 3 days, we go through day one, which we teach you all about getting super clear on what it is that you actually want, not based on your past patterns. So, not based on your old self, but your new version that you're going to step into. Based on that, then I teach you how to actually remodel your whole definitions of what's going on in your life. And then day two, I teach you how to align to it. So we'll teach you a process that you can learn and use the rest of your life to completely change. Like, I mean, when I say anything, I like it's like crazy good. So, and then day
Well,
three,
I can jump in there when you
yeah,
say anything, because like when Dave and I signed up with you and started, just like we did one simple process, and within that month we each lost around 12 pounds, which we haven't gained back. We I tripled my income, and we started doing more adventures, which was something that was like we didn't even really know that was missing, and we shifted into more fun. We were like, all of a sudden we're going camping again and like planning vacations again and like doing fun stuff again, and just like it was really cool to study something
yeah,
with Dave and like do the personal growth stuff. But I love it because you taught us a process that we can do any day, anytime, around anything.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's so powerful. And that's just day two.
Yep. Day 3 is embracing the identity and stepping into it, which
Mhm.
is phenomenal. So I take you guys through a process step by step. Time commitment. I know a lot of you are busy, you have your entrepreneur stuff. So it's like, oh my goodness, do I have the time to do this? Because really, I want to make this to where money wasn't an issue. It's $7. So the only big issue is time. Will you take the time? So I'm going to answer that and I'm going to tell you why it's worth it to make the time. So we go from like 8 or 9 to like 2. So it's only like 6 hours a day.
Eight Mountain.
Yeah.
8 Mountain. Okay.
6 hours a day
Mhm.
for 3 days. The
Mhm.
recordings are there if you can't make it live. And if you
Yeah.
upgrade VIP, you get access to the recordings for a lifetime. So there's that available. Now, here's the big question. Like I work with literal entrepreneurs who are making over 100 million or more. They do not have much time,
Mhm.
which is why aligning is so important. If you could learn how to make a change in a minute or in an hour, and normally that would have taken you 3 months to change. If that lands you an extra 10 deals, 100 deals, or gets you into a state where you're more present with your family, or gets you out of that number one thing that's holding you back,
Mhm.
would it be worth it to take several hours out through immersion to learn how to actually do it so that you don't have to span the pain out for years? So the question is always like, how does someone not have the time to do it? Because I used to be that person that I didn't think I had the time. And it's just that, no, I was a victim to time. I didn't feel like I was at cause over time. So I allowed things happen to me instead of for me. So a big part of what you'll learn is, how do I get to where everything in my life is an effect of the cause with me? When
Mhm.
I do something, it's an effect instead of me feeling like the effect.
Yeah.
Ah, that thing does it, it happens to me. No, no,
Mhm.
no. Switching that to say, actually, I create everything in my life very strategically, very and very like wise, to say, I have my wife, I have my kids, I have my health, I have my relationships, I have my business, I have everything that I desire because it's by choice, not out of a fight flight response. So if you don't have the time, even more important to do it, because you got to get your time back and don't be a victim to time. And that's an addiction.
Cool. And time is the biggest one. I mean, finances and time, those are always the things that come up. $7, everyone can swing. And I'm sure the VIP is 100% worth it just to have access to those recordings. Even if you make the time and are at all 3 days, the recordings will be invaluable for life to keep. And to use and learn and grow. I know I've been doing this alignment stuff almost daily since like March, I think. And I still have more things to align.
And to triple your business, I mean, some people, you say that kind of nonchalantly. Yeah, I've tripled my business, lost the weight, because it feels so natural and simple. It's like, oh, this is just kind of how it is. It's my natural state of being now. And
Yeah,
I think we get so caught up in the old past that this is just the way it is, until
yeah.
you break out of it. And then you have a new identity, a new way of looking at life, new lenses. And then that becomes the normal. It's like, oh, yeah, before I was making millions of dollars, 10,000 in a year felt normal. And I was
Mhm.
like, then I had to break out of that and say, how
Yeah.
could I get to where the next level feels normal?
Yes.
So anyway,
Awesome.
I've got another session here in a minute, but if you would
Yeah.
like to join, I'd love to have you guys on. Be super fun.
Mhm.
We have a lot of fun, a lot of transformation, and make the time, show up live. It'll be so incredible. Plus, if you sign up right now, Monday we're doing a whole alignment on gratitude. So you'll join my list, and it's usually I charge $5,000 for alignments, but I'm gifting that to everybody who's a part of it. So if you want to hop on that Monday night, you'll get a big taste of it. So uh, even just join for that. So um,
Cool.
we'll be doing a big one on gratitude, since this November is gratitude and
Mhm.
Thanksgiving. And I just love helping people really value everything that they have around in their life and getting to
Super,
the next level.
super cool. Like super cool. So thank you so much. I just want to say, I know you got like 2 minutes. I just want to say one more thing. First of all, thank you so much for jumping on here and sharing with me, because I don't take it for granted, our connection and your mentorship, and just like kind of a dream come true to be able to like have you on and work with you like this. It's super, super cool. You're changing so many lives, and I'm really watching you and learning everything that I can from you. I want to share that Tyler did an alignment with me right before I went to a larger event to speak. And I've never talked about it, but I've always had a lot of anxiety socially around people. And I'm really good at like faking it. But inside, I'm like, how in the past would be freaking out inside and then be like, oh, hey, how's it going? But inside, like, and then I wouldn't sleep. I would pace the room, practice my speech. Like, and this event, I spoke on the Sunday and it started on the Thursday. So that basically means a normal old Jennie would have been 4 nights no sleep, pacing the room, practicing, nervous as heck the whole time until I got my speech out of the way. And I was one of the last speakers on the last day. And so I just want to share that Tyler did one alignment with me around feeling confident and being true to myself, like my true nature. And when I went to that event, by the third day, Tyler, I was actually freaking out. I thought there was something wrong with me because I was so calm. And I was like so calm. I was like talking to people, introing people. Like I was Miss Networker. I had no nerves. I was like walking up to people and introducing myself. I walked on that stage like, like a rock star. And I received all the praise. Like it was amazing. And you transformed my event experience for me for my life. And that is transformational, just that piece alone. So I just want to close with that. I want to encourage everybody, jump on this 3-day event. You will not regret it. I'll put the link in the comments. Thank you so much for being on here, Tyler. Thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Jennie.
Cool. Thanks.